A group of House Republicans calling on the DOJ to release more information about its investigation of Hunter Biden. The lawmakers argue in a letter to the AG, Merrick Garland, that the probe raised questions about the involvement of the president himself. Now, that was from the House side. From the Senate today, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson is here. And Senator, good morning to you. Just at the out, do you agree with these House lawmakers about what they want? And if so, what questions do you have?
Well, good morning, Bill. Well, first of all, I think the American public deserves the truth here. That's why Senator Grassley and I issued our report in September 2020 that laid out the vast web of foreign financial entanglements of Biden, Inc. Unfortunately, the press denigrated it. They ignored it. We had Democrat leaders actually create an intelligence product, a false intelligence product, leaked it to the media that accused Senator Grassley and I of soliciting and then disseminating Russian disinformation. This is to throw everybody off the trail of the corruption and the compromise of then candidate Joe Biden. And it's interesting, the day after we issued our report, we were actually offered that laptop from Mr. McIsaac, but because we'd already been accused of Russian disinformation, we had to do our due diligence. So we had to make sure it wasn't stolen property. So you know who we contacted? We contacted the FBI. They didn't tell us anything. And I think what is really egregious behavior on their part is when you had the 50 or 51 intelligence officials come out and engage in their own information operation by issuing a letter that said the laptop was a Russian information operation. The FBI should have come forward because apparently they had that laptop, and they should inform the public that no, this laptop is authentic, and we have a criminal investigation that we've opened up. They have not come clean. I subpoenaed FBI Director Christopher Wray on the corruption of the FBI investigation into the Russian hoax. We basically got no information whatsoever. So, I appreciate the House members' efforts, but they shouldn't hold their breath.
It sounds like you're on board with them. You're just catching the end of your answer there. But there's a federal grand jury investigating this. All that stuff's supposed to be secret. I know there have been leaks so far, but why would they share anything at this point with you or anybody in the House, or even Democrats?
So I've been arguing this for quite some time. When you have investigations into corruption within the public realm, when you're talking about public political figures, we do this backwards. I think we should start with congressional investigations. We should have full access to all the information. If we see possible wrongdoing, then we would refer to the Justice Department. What happens now is the Justice Department starts a criminal investigation, and then Congress, which means the American public, get no information whatsoever, even though that information is crucial for the electorate to determine whether or not they want to vote for somebody. You've seen the polls. Had the American public known the corruption of Biden, Inc., of Hunter Biden, the big guy, Joe Biden would not be president. My guess, we probably wouldn't see Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine. The actions taken, the corruption of the complicit media and elements within our law enforcement and intelligence agencies have had a incredible serious impact on our politics, on elections. They interfered in our elections to a far greater extent than anything Russia ever could have hoped to achieve.
Yeah, based on all this, then, if you got the AG, Merrick Garland, you got the FBI, and everyone else you just rattled off there, if there's a Republican majority in the Senate come November or January of next year, how do you then compel them to cooperate with you at that point? Because you're not going to let go of this.
Well, you start issuing subpoenas, but then you have to enforce the subpoenas. And it's difficult to enforce the subpoena when you have the opposite party in power in the AG's office, and you have an AG that's partisan. And I think that's what we have right now. So it's going to be difficult, but public pressure means an awful lot. And I think that's why it's so important for this information to get out in the public realm so the public puts pressure on the Attorney General to be a straight shooter and provide the American people the information it needs. The American people deserve the truth.
Yeah. And that grand jury might beat you to it. We'll see in time. Thank you, sir, for coming on. We'll speak again. Ron Johnson, the Republican from Wisconsin. Thank you for your time.
We have some brand new CNN reporting. A Justice Department investigation on Hunter Biden, the president's son, has intensified over the last several months. The investigation has been going on since 2018, and this stems from Hunter Biden's business dealings in foreign countries like Ukraine, while his father was serving as vice president. Sources tell CNN that President Biden is not being investigated in relation to his son's dealings. Joining me now is CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez and CNN senior legal analyst Elie Honig. Evan, just lay out your reporting here, because this is very, very bad for the president's son.
It is, and it's an investigation, as you pointed out, going back to 2018. And right now, prosecutors in Delaware are focusing on a number of things, including whether Hunter Biden and some of his business associates violated laws, including tax and money laundering laws and foreign lobbying laws. A lot of this has to do with Hunter Biden's time working with this company called Burisma, an energy company in Ukraine. He was getting paid as much as $50,000 a month for that company during a time that Joe Biden, his father, was vice president, was in charge of handling Ukraine issues for the Obama administration. And that, of course, raised questions of a conflict. And so what we know is this investigation, for a while, it has been going on, and it seemed to not a lot was going on until recently. A lot of activity has picked up. We know witnesses have gone in to talk to the grand jury in Delaware. We know of witnesses who are going in to talk to investigators in the next few weeks. So we know that there's a lot of activity now picking up. He's not been charged. He says that Hunter Biden says that he committed no wrongdoing, and that he says at the end of this he believes he'll be cleared. But obviously, as you pointed out, this is a political mess for the sitting president to have his son being investigated by the Justice Department, his own Justice Department.
Yeah, he was making a lot of money doing something he definitely should not have been doing while his dad was vice president and overseeing that portfolio. Elie, how do you see this?
Well, Brianna, this is a very real, very substantial investigation of potentially serious federal crimes. We are seeing federal prosecutors in Delaware do exactly what you would expect to see federal prosecutors do in this situation. They're talking to witnesses, they're bringing people into the grand jury, they're issuing subpoenas, and I would expect, as Evan reported, they're now gaining steam, and they need to make a decision, I think, in the at least intermediate future. This case has been going on for 4 years, and there is a realistic chance this could result in federal charges. Of course, then we'd be in unprecedented political territory, not legal territory, but a situation of having potentially the Justice Department prosecuting and trying to imprison the son of the president.
Yeah, you mentioned politics. I mean, politics, Elie, have factored into so much of this, from the interest in this case by President Trump and his associates as well. That's actually something that I think may have backfired in a way initially in this.
Yeah, Brianna, two things can be true at the same time. Donald Trump can have committed all sorts of abuses of power and outrageous acts trying to push people to investigate Hunter Biden, but there also could independently be a legitimate investigation of Hunter Biden. And the history is really important here, because Bill Barr, this is the one thing I will say Bill Barr did absolutely correctly. When he became Attorney General in 2019, this investigation was already going on, and Bill Barr did not leak it. He made sure DOJ did not leak it before the investigation. If he had done that, that really could have influenced things. And I have to say, Joe Biden deserves political credit here for keeping his hands off. Typically, when a new president comes in, especially of a new party, he gets rid of all 93 U.S. attorneys across the country. Here, Joe Biden left 2 U.S. attorneys in place. One is John Durham, and the other is this U.S. Attorney, David Weiss, in the District of Delaware, because he did not want to give any appearance of political interference in this case or the Durham case.
Yeah, it's a really important point. Elie, thank you so much. Evan, thank you as well.
Thanks, Brianna.